Hello, this is Gary Marr of Glendale Community College. This screencast is for my CIS156 Python 1 online class, spring 2018. What I want to talk about in this particular screencast is our syllabus. There's going to be a lot of videos associated with this class, and the first couple, the one on Canvas and the one on the syllabus, are good starting points to get you on the right track for a good grade in this class. Top of the syllabus, contact information. I guess the important thing here is I am the department chair, and therefore I have a lot of time to talk on the phone. You can come over to the office and talk with me. We can do a screencast. We can do a chat room. We can do all kinds of things if you have a question. I've got a lot of availability right this semester. I only have one in-person class and a couple online classes, so please take advantage of my time anytime you have a question. One of the things that happens with online courses is that it puts a lot more on your shoulders in terms of determining answers to questions you may have. But please understand, I'm always available to help you out with anything that seems to be a problem. As we move down the syllabus, the course curriculum is essentially something that's determined on a district-wide basis. I happen to have been the one that wrote the curriculum for this class, so not only GCC, but everybody else uses the same template. We're using the Gaddis book this semester. This is the second time we've used, maybe third time we've used Gaddis. The nice thing about Gaddis, especially in an online class, is that his materials are strong enough to be followed on their own. In other words, if you just want to follow Tony Gaddis and his material in the book, you can learn Python. I'm here to facilitate that. I'm here to give you some of my own perspective on it. But I've tried to keep a lot of the materials and a lot of the course lectures tied to the materials, so that if there's a question, you'll have another resource to go to. You probably could use the third edition of the book, but you're starting to get away from what we're going to be talking about in lectures and stuff. But if you're willing to come over to the library once in a while and check out the fourth edition, that's fine. I don't think the book is that expensive. I would look for it used. It's a good enough book to keep, but at the same time, a few bent pages doesn't affect how it reads or how it works for you. As far as the rest of the course materials, you'll need to download Python 3. Some version of 3.x. I think the current version is 3.5 or 6. It's a free download. It's available for Windows, Apple, or Linux. Python is installed on the Apple, but I'm not sure if it's the most current release. I know when I had an Apple, it was usually a release behind. So make sure you have the most recent release. Linux, same story. Windows, it's just like every other download. You'll link to the site, drop down the Windows version, and you should be good to go. That has to be done before you install any IDEs, integrated development environments. That's software that you're going to use to write your code and test your code. We're going to use Thony in this class, which is another free program. It's essentially an IDE written for Python for people learning Python. It doesn't have all the bells and whistles of some other IDEs, but it's very functional. I'll probably also use Notepad++, which is kind of a plain vanilla, not anything special type IDE also in some of my demonstrations, or I could use the new Visual Studio Code IDE, which Microsoft has developed, which is free. The big advantage about the Visual Studio Code program is it has IntelliSense, which helps you it helps you with putting together the syntax for Python. Thony not so much, a little bit. All these IDEs have code coloring and have debug capability, or have the ability to run the program within the editor environment so that you can debug it, but probably there's some a little fancier than others. If you go to the resources page that I've created here on Canvas, you'll find there's a couple other mentioned too. PyCharm, PyScripter. I want to say there's another couple of them also. Typically, if you're in the Apple environment, you'll probably end up using Text Wrangler, or you could use Thony. But as we get more advanced, you might want to try Text Wrangler. You're probably already familiar with it if you've got an Apple machine. As far as grading goes, this is always the big hot topic. I'll give you 6 tests altogether, 4 tests, 1 through 4, which are primarily vocabulary, terminology, initial concepts, true, false, multiple choice. I'll typically give you a couple of chances to take the test to get your best score. The midterm and final are more traditional tests. These will be critical thinking tests. So it's going to be essays, short answers, code snippets. Midterm is on the first half of the class. Final is on the second half of the class. The final is not comprehensive. You'll have 10 assignments to do from the textbook. The reason I chose them from the textbook, I thought about creating my own case study examples, but if I keep into the textbook, it typically makes it easier, if you do have a question, to map back to the textbook. So I've decided to do that again this semester. You'll have 5 discussion questions to participate in. These are 5 points each. If you put your initial post out there and reply to 2 others, you get 5 points. If you just do your initial posts, you get 3 points. Make sure the discussion posts are meaningful, not yes, no, true, false. They're typically, something you can discuss. They're typically not code questions as much as some ideas about security and different things. You can see them. They're inside Canvas. They're spaced out throughout the class, approximately every 3 or 4 weeks. I may not grade them right away when they're posted when they're due, because obviously we need to give people some time to reply to them. Participation. You will have to once a week send me a short note as a part of a reflection assignment, which says what you're working on, if you have any questions, what they are, so I can help you out. One of the problems we've had with online training in the past is that students will check out. They'll get lazy, they procrastinate, next thing you know the class is almost over, they don't like their grade, they end up dropping. If I keep you active in reflection, letting me know how you're doing, hopefully that'll keep you active in the class. Basically, for every credit hour of instruction, you should be spending 3 hours outside of class. So this is a 3 credit hour course, so 9 credit hours outside of class. That's a little extreme, but it better be a few hours, because this stuff is going to be probably the first time for a lot of you. Now, if you've got some experience in Python, it's not going to take you as long, but please put the effort in, and it'll reflect in a good grade. As far as the grades go, we're going to follow these percentages. These would be points scored against the total points. To get an A, you have to turn everything in. And I don't think it's mathematically possible to get an A without that, but if it is, no exceptions. You have all labs, all tests, all discussion questions turned in. Here's some stuff on the discussion questions in terms of the point value, attendance. I'm not real strict on test attendance, especially with an online class, but if I start to see a couple reflections not completed, you're probably going to get an email from me asking me if you want to be withdrawn from class. If you miss 2 weeks of reflections, I'm thinking you've probably checked out. Let's see. You can take a W in this class by asking me all the way up to the last week of school, week 16. Okay. Don't cheat. If I catch anybody cheating, there's another person typically involved. You'll both lose, at least both get a 0, and it's going to impact your grade pretty dramatically. And I don't worry so much about the person who wants to cheat, because they're probably not doing well anyways. But I've had a couple situations where students who've been very good students have decided to help somebody out, not knowing they were going to take their work and ended up getting a B instead of an A. And don't let that happen to you. There's some stuff here on sexual harassment, phone numbers and such. All this stuff is also covered in the student handbook, along with information about disabilities. If you have a disability, let me know. We'll accommodate it. Talk to the disability office if it's something specific, more test time, things like that. If you're an MCCD employee, please let me know. This class can change, okay? I do a lot with videos. If I think the video needs to be updated, I will update it. I will create new videos depending on the questions I get. I sometimes create videos just because of the questions that did pop up in that particular class. So it will change. I don't see the assignments or the tests or anything like that changing. That's possible, but that would be something fairly dramatic, like Canvas was down for 2 weeks or something like that. This is the course schedule here. Okay. We pretty much stick to this. Okay, I think it's worked well in the past. I see no reason why it shouldn't work this time. Again, if you have questions, please ask me them. Questions should come through first and foremost to the Canvas inbox. But if you'd like my email here for my GCC email, my regular faculty email is here. It's right there. Please send me an email. Don't be afraid to call me. That's my office number. I possibly could post a Google Talk number here, which would allow you, when you call me, to have it ring in my cell phone or my office. But since I am the department chair, I'm in my office quite frequently. All right, I guess that's all I can say for now. Good luck and see you online.